It's 2:47 p.m. in Silicon Valley, 2025. I'm Lena Voss, hunched over my laptop, debugging the AI code that could have made me a billionaire when my phone buzzes with a text from my boyfriend and co-founder, Tyler. "I'm done with you, Lena. Jade and I are off to Vegas with the $2 million I yanked from our joint account. Good luck with your little startup, babe." My screen glows with his betrayal, capped with a smug LOL. But here's the kicker: I didn't cry, didn't scream. I just smirked, because Tyler had no idea I'd been ready for this for months. What he thought was my end. It was just the start of his downfall, and my rise. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know where you're watching from, and if stories like this hit home, drop a comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Stick around until the end, you won't want to miss a single twist. Every detail counts, and there's a powerful message waiting for you. Oh, and hey, I've got another incredible story dropping tomorrow, so stay tuned. I set my phone down on the scratched IKEA desk that had been with me since my broke grad school days at Stanford. The Neural Nest office hummed around me: open plan, minimalist, all glass and steel, the kind of startup vibe that screams we're going places. My team of coders tapped away at their keyboards, oblivious to the grenade Tyler had just lobbed into my life. I took a sip of my lukewarm espresso, the bitter taste grounding me, and glanced at the framed photo on my desk. Me and Tyler at our launch party 2 years ago, toasting with cheap champagne, grins as wide as the Bay Bridge. Back then, Neural Nest was just a dream, an AI platform to predict consumer trends better than anything out there. I wrote the code, he brought the cash and charisma. Perfect match, right? Until it wasn't. The signs had been piling up like unopened Slack messages. 6 months ago, he started working late at investor dinners that never showed up on our shared Google Calendar. His phone got a new passcode, said it was for security, but he'd smirk when I asked about it. Then there was Jade Gwynn, our 22-year-old intern with a TikTok following bigger than our company's. She'd linger after meetings, giggling at Tyler's dumb jokes, her hand brushing his arm like she was auditioning for a rom-com. I'd roll my eyes and keep coding, telling myself it was nothing. But my gut knew better. I'm a coder. Pattern recognition is my superpower. So, 3 months back, I started digging. Quietly. I pulled our joint account logs late one night. Tyler had been siphoning cash into a separate PayPal he thought I didn't know about. Small amounts at first, then bigger chunks. $10,000 here, $50,000 there, all labeled consulting fees. Consulting what? How to blow our seed money on overpriced steak dinners. I didn't confront him. Instead, I opened a new account at Chase, transferred my personal savings, every cent I'd scraped together from freelance gigs before Neural Nest took off, and left just enough in the joint one to keep him from sniffing around. About $2 million, give or take. Pocket change compared to what the company could be worth, but enough to make him feel like he'd won the lottery when he pulled his little stunt. I leaned back in my chair, staring at his text again. Vegas with a $2 million, good luck with your little startup, babe. The babe stung more than the money. We'd been together 5 years, met at a hackathon, bonded over Red Bull and bad Wi-Fi. He'd call me babe when he'd bring me coffee during all-nighters, or when we'd crash on the couch watching Silicon Valley reruns, dreaming of our own big break. Now it was a taunt, dripping with the same arrogance he'd used to charm investors. I could almost hear him laughing, probably cracking open a beer with Jade poolside at some gaudy Vegas hotel, thinking he'd outsmarted me. Poor bastard. "Lena, you okay?" Priya, my lead engineer, popped her head over the cubicle divider, her noise-canceling headphones dangling around her neck. "You look like you just found a bug in prod." I forced a smile. "Something like that. Just need a sec." She nodded and ducked back down, leaving me to my thoughts. I wasn't about to spill this mess to the team, not yet. Neural Nest was my baby, and I'd be damned if Tyler's midlife crisis tanked it. I pulled up our company dashboard on my laptop. The AI was humming along 73% accuracy on predicting next quarter retail trends. Investors were circling like sharks, whispering nine-figure valuations. Tyler didn't just want out, he wanted to cash in.
And Jade?
She was his shiny new accessory, probably dreaming of Prada bags and Insta-fame.
My phone buzzed again.
Another text from him. Don't bother calling. Already blocked you. Jade's got better ideas for neural nest than you ever did. Enjoy debugging your life, loser.
Ouch.
The loser was a cheap shot. He knew I'd gotten that nickname in high school after bombing a coding competition. I'd laughed it off back then, turned it into fuel. Now he was twisting the knife, thinking it'd break me. I screenshot the text's evidence, always evidence, and forwarded them to my lawyer, Ethan Powell. Not just any lawyer, Ethan's my big brother, the kind of guy who'd sue a lemonade stand for false advertising and win. I dialed him, keeping my voice low. Hey, it's go time. Lena, what's up? Ethan's tone shifted from casual to all business in heartbeat. He'd been my rock since Dad bailed when I was 10, taught me how to fight smart, not loud. Tyler just pulled the trigger. Took the $2 million and ran off with Jade to Vegas. Thinks he's cut me out of Neural Nest. Ethan let out a low whistle. Dumbass move. You got the paper trail? Every cent. And his text bragging about it. He's got no clue I've been prepping for this.
Good.
I'll start drafting the fraud claim. What about the company? I grinned, tapping my keyboard to pull up a hidden folder labeled NN Backup. Oh, he's in for a surprise. I'll fill you in tonight. Just freeze that joint account and kill the credit cards for me.
Done.
Meet me at the Battery at 7. We're crushing this punk. I hung up, feeling the first real spark of adrenaline since that text landed. Tyler thought he'd nuked me, but he didn't know about the ace up my sleeve, the backdoor I'd coded into Neural Nest's core system 6 months ago. Call it paranoia, call it instinct, but I'd built a kill switch into the AI. One flip, and anyone trying to access the source code without my key would get a nasty little surprise. Not just a lockout, a digital trap that'd flag every move they made. Tyler wasn't just a thief, he was about to be a sitting duck. I stood up, stretched, and grabbed my jacket. Priya, I'm stepping out. Hold the fort. She gave me a thumbs up, eyes glued to her screen. I walked past the Neural Nest logo on the wall, sleek, silver, a brain-like web of circuits Tyler had once called genius. He'd always taken credit for my ideas in meetings, flashing that $1 million smile while I did the grunt work. Now he thought he could steal the whole damn thing and ride off into the sunset with a TikTok starlet.
Cute.
Outside, the Silicon Valley sun hit me like a spotlight. Teslas zipped by, tech bros in hoodies chattered about IPOs, and I could smell the eucalyptus trees lining the street. I slid into my beat-up Prius. Yeah, I'm a coder, not a car girl, and let the reality sink in. 5 years with Tyler, 2 years building Neural Nest, and he'd tossed it all for $2 million and a fling. Most people would have been a wreck sobbing into a pint of Ben Jerry's, calling him to beg. Not me. I'd seen too many startup horror stories, co-founders screwing each other over, dreams imploding over greed. I wasn't about to be the cautionary tale. My phone buzzed one more time as I pulled into traffic. A photo from Tyler. Him and Jade clinking cocktails by a pool, her in a bikini, him in aviators, caption new life, new vibe. Catch you never, Voss. I laughed out loud, sharp, bitter, the kind of laugh that turns heads in a coffee shop. Let him have his moment. Let him strut around Vegas like a wannabe Tony Stark. He didn't know the joint cards were already dead, or that Ethan was about to rain legal hell on him. And the code? Oh, the code was mine, always had been, always would be. I merged onto the 101, the Bay Area sprawling out ahead of me. Tyler thought he'd written my ending. He didn't realize I'd been drafting his for months.
Game on, babe.
Tyler probably thought he'd hit the jackpot, $2 million in his pocket, Jade on his arm, and a penthouse suite overlooking the Vegas Strip. I could picture him now, aviators perched on his nose, sipping a $20 mojito, bragging to Jade about how he'd outsmarted me. He didn't know I'd just remotely canceled his cards, or that the encrypted file he'd swiped from neural nest servers was about to send his whole plan crashing down like a bad line of code. While he was popping champagne, I was sipping my espresso at the Battery, meeting Ethan to tighten the noose. "Lena, you're a genius," Ethan said, sliding a bourbon across the polished oak table. The Battery was buzzing tech execs in Patagonia vests, venture capitalists whispering about the next unicorn. Those texts alone could bury him. Fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, he's toast. I smirked, swirling my drink. That's just the appetizer. He's got no idea what's coming with the code. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Spill it. 6 months ago, I coded a backdoor into Neural Nest's AI core. A Trojan horse. Anyone tries to access the source without my key, it locks them out and pings me their location. Oh, and it auto-forwards a nice little evidence packet to the feds, IP logs, timestamps, the works. He laughed, loud enough to turn heads. You're terrifying. Remind me never to cross you. Too late for Tyler, I said, pulling up my laptop. The Neural Nest dashboard blinked to life, and there it was, a red alert. Someone had tried accessing the source code 10 minutes ago from an IP in Las Vegas. Guess who? Meanwhile, 500 miles away, Tyler's dream was turning into a Vegas nightmare. He and Jade had checked into the Bellagio penthouse suite, naturally, because nothing screams new money like overcompensating. Instagram was their stage. Jade in a sparkly dress, Tyler flashing a wad of cash, caption screaming living our best life. Hashtag new beginnings, hashtag Vegas vibes. I scrolled their posts from my phone, almost feeling sorry for them. Almost. Then I pictured that LOL from his text and decided pity was off the table. Their first clue came at dinner. Tyler swaggered up to the hostess at Le Cirque, Jade clinging to his arm like a shiny new Rolex. Reservation for Grant, he'd say, all smooth and smug. The bill came $800 for oysters and Wagyu, and he slid the joint visa across the table. The waiter returned, awkward as hell. Sir, it's declined. Run it again, Tyler snapped, his charm cracking. Second try, same result. Jade's smile faltered as he fumbled for his personal card maxed out months ago, thanks to his business expenses. By the third decline, the manager was hovering, and Jade was staring at her phone like it might save her. Back at the Battery, I got the ping from Chase. Attempted charge denied. I grinned at Ethan. They're flailing. Time to pull the plug. He nodded, dialing his contact at the bank. Within 10 minutes, every card tied to our joint account was dead credit, debit. Even the emergency Amex Tyler didn't know I'd tracked. Let's see how long that $2 million lasted in cash. But the real fun started when Tyler got desperate. I'd bet my Prius he wasn't just running off with Jade for a fling, he wanted Neural Nest, the whole damn thing. The AI was the golden goose, and he'd been itching to sell it to one of our competitors, Zenith Corp, who'd been sniffing around for months. Sure enough, my backdoor pinged again at 1:13 a.m. Another access attempt, this time uploading the code to a dark web marketplace. Classic Tyler, too lazy to even cover his tracks. The Trojan kicked in, locking him out and sending me a tidy log. User, T. Grant. Location, Bellagio Hotel, Las Vegas. Action, attempted upload to encrypted server. Gotcha, I muttered, forwarding the log to Ethan. But the best part? The Trojan didn't just block him, it sent a duplicate alert to the FBI's cybercrime unit, flagged as suspected intellectual property theft. I'd set that up after a late-night paranoia session, figuring it'd never come to this. Turned out, my paranoia was smarter than Tyler's greed. By morning, Vegas was a circus. Tyler's phone blew up with texts he hadn't blocked me from his burner yet. Rookie mistake. Lena, what the hell?
Cards are dead.
Fix this or I'm suing. Then, 10 minutes later, Zenith's pissed the code's a dud. Call me now. I didn't reply. Let him sweat. Jade's Instagram went quiet, no more poolside selfies, just a cryptic story. Sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. Trouble in paradise already? I met Priya for coffee at Blue Bottle, filling her in. She nearly spat out her latte. He tried to sell the code?
To Zenith?
That idiot's gonna fry. Only if the feds get him first, I said, showing her the FBI email that had just landed. Ms. Voss, we've received an automated alert regarding potential IP theft tied to your company, Neural Nest. Please confirm details for investigation. I typed a quick reply, yes, it's mine, yes, he stole it, attaching Tyler's texts and the logs.
Game, set, match.
Priya shook her head, grinning. You're a savage. How'd you know he'd pull this?
Didn't.
Just knew he's Tyler, always chasing the shortcut. I built Neural Nest from scratch. He just showed up with a check and a smile. Figured I'd better have a plan B. Back at the office, the team was buzzing, word was leaking fast. Tyler bailed? He took Jade? I kept it vague. Personal stuff. We're fine. No point in tanking morale yet. The AI was still running, our clients were happy, and I had the only key that mattered. Tyler could have walked away with his dignity. Maybe even a fair split. Instead, he'd gone full scorched earth and tripped over my landmines. That night, Ethan called with an update. Feds are on it, cyber theft across state lines, plus fraud with the joint account. He's looking at real time if they pin it. Zenith's backing off, they don't want the heat. Where's he now? Bellagio, last I checked. Probably begging Jade to Venmo him gas money. Ethan chuckled. You're cold, sis. What's next? Sit back and watch him burn, I said, leaning against my apartment window overlooking San Francisco's twinkling skyline. Then we rebuild Neural Nest without his dead weight. My phone buzzed, another text from Tyler, this one frantic. Lena, this isn't funny. The hotel's kicking us out. Zenith's threatening to sue me. What did you do? I didn't answer. He'd figure it out soon enough when the FBI knocked or when Jade ditched him at the first Greyhound station. I poured a glass of Napa Valley Red, the good stuff I'd been saving for a win, and toasted the empty room. Tyler thought he'd coded my exit. Too bad I'd rewritten his. Outside, the city pulsed startup dreams, late-night Ubers, the hum of ambition. I'd built Neural Nest to predict the future, but I didn't need AI to see Tyler's. Broke, alone, and wishing he'd never typed that LOL. Tomorrow, I'd face the team, the investors, the fallout. Tonight, I savored the trap, snapping shut. A year after Tyler's Vegas disaster, I stood on stage at TechCrunch Disrupt, the spotlight hot on my face, the crowd buzzing like a swarm of caffeinated bees. Neural Nest's new valuation? I said, pausing for effect as the slide flipped behind me. $500 million. The room erupted, cheers, gasps, a few jealous murmurs from the back. Down in the audience, someone whispered they'd just spotted Tyler on TikTok, hawking crypto scams from a dingy apartment, his aviators swapped for desperation. Turns out, the real jackpot wasn't the $2 million he stole, it was the life I built after he tried to burn mine down. Let's rewind. After the Bellagio booted him and Jade out, Tyler's world imploded faster than a startup with no runway. The FBI swooped in, cyber theft, wire fraud, the works. My Trojan horse had done its job, handing them a gift-wrapped case, his IP logs, those smug texts, even the dark web upload attempt. He cut a deal to avoid hard times, 6 months probation, a fat fine he couldn't pay, and a permanent stain on his record. Zenith Corp didn't just drop him, they sued him for breach of contract when the code he sold them turned out to be a dud. Last I heard, he'd pawned his Rolex to cover legal fees. Jade bailed within a week. Her Instagram story went from #VegasVibes to trust your gut, ladies a vague apology to no one in particular. Rumor was she'd moved back to her parents' place in Sacramento, ghosting Tyler after he tried crashing on her couch. I didn't blame her. She'd been a pawn in his game, too young to see the red flags until the hotel bill hit. Back in Silicon Valley, I was picking up the pieces and building something bigger. I called an all-hands meeting the day after the Vegas fiasco. The Neural Nest team crowded into our conference room, coffee cups in hand, eyes wide. "Tyler's out," I said, keeping it short. "He tried to sell us out." I stopped him. "We're moving forward together." Priya fist bumped me under the table as the room exhaled. No one asked for details, they trusted me to steer the ship. And steer I did. With Ethan's help, I locked down Neural Nest's assets. The $2 million Tyler took, recovered via a court order, plus interest, when the judge saw his LOL text and called it flagrant misconduct. The AI core stayed by my back door, ensured no one could touch it. Investors didn't flinch, they doubled down. "You're the real deal, Lena," one VC told me over drinks at Rosewood Sandhill. Tyler was just the hype man. 6 months later, we landed a deal with a major retailer, $50 million upfront, with royalties that'd make your head spin. Neural Nest wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Tyler, meanwhile, was a Silicon Valley ghost story. Mutual friends, well, ex-friends texted me updates like it was a reality show. Saw him at a dive bar in Oakland, pitching some NFT scam. "He's crashing with his cousin, says you ruined him."
I didn't reply.
Let him spin his victim tale, the evidence spoke louder. His last text to me came a month after Vegas, a pathetic Hail Mary. "Lena, I messed up.
Can we talk?"
I've got ideas to fix this." I blocked him, framed the screenshot, and hung it in my new office, a corner suite with a view of the Golden Gate Bridge. Next to it, my Founder of the Year award from Wired.
Poetic, right?
TechCrunch Disrupt was the victory lap. I'd prepped for weeks, black blazer, no-nonsense ponytail, a speech that'd make even the cynics clap. Neural Nest isn't just about predicting trends, I told the crowd. It's about outsmarting the chaos. I learned that the hard way when someone I trusted tried to steal it all. But here's the thing, preparation beats betrayal every time. The applause hit like a wave, and I spotted Priya in the front row, grinning like a proud mom. Afterward, a line of attendees swarmed me, startup founders, mostly women, asking how I'd pulled it off. "Code smart, trust your gut, and always have a backup," I said. They scribbled notes like I was dropping gospel. Then Jade showed up. I was sipping a post-talk IPA when she edged through the crowd, clutching a conference badge like a shield. "Lena," she started, voice shaky. "I owe you an apology." I raised an eyebrow, setting my drink down. "For what?" "For believing Tyler. He said you were holding Neural Nest back, that he'd make me a star." I was dumb, 22, and dazzled by his bullshit. Then Vegas happened, and I saw who he really was. I studied her no sparkly dress, just jeans and a hoodie. Her TikTok glow dimmed. "You're not the first to fall for a slick pitch. What's next for you?" "Back at Sac State, finishing my degree. No more shortcuts." She hesitated, then added, "You're badass, Lena." "I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." "Live and learn," I said, offering a half smile. She nodded and slipped away, leaving me with a weird mix of closure and relief. Jade wasn't the enemy, Tyler was. And he'd lost everything. The money, the girl, the cred. Last I checked, his TikTok bio read entrepreneur, crypto visionary, but his videos shaky rants about haters, and the system barely cracked 100 views. The comments were brutal. "Bro, you fumbled a unicorn. Should have kept the coder, not the intern." I didn't watch long Schadenfreude as fun, but I had better things to do. Neural Nest's new HQ opened that fall, 3 floors in Soma, glass walls etched with our logo, a team of 50 now, all hand-picked by me. Priya ran engineering, I ran the vision. We weren't just predicting trends, we were shaping them. The retailer deal turned heads, and soon Forbes was calling for a profile. Lena Voss, the coder who outsmarted her co-founder and won. I framed that, too, right under Tyler's text. A reminder, Every LOL he threw at me fueled this. Ethan threw a party at his place to celebrate bourbon flowing, my old Stanford crew toasting to the comeback queen. He pulled me aside, grinning. Tyler's mom called me, said he's living in her basement, whining about how you stole his dream. I laughed, sharp and free. His dream? I wrote every line of that code. He just signed the checks, and half the time they bounced. Karma's a bitch, Ethan said, clinking his glass against mine. You're unstoppable, sis. That night, I drove home over the Bay Bridge, the city lights dancing on the water. 5 years with Tyler Love, trust, a shared dream gone in a text. Most would have crumbled. I rebuilt. Neural Nest wasn't just a company, it was proof you could take a hit, spot the patterns, and come out stronger. Tyler thought he'd coded my exit, but I'd rewritten the script line by line, trap by trap, win by win. Back in my apartment, I poured that Napa Valley red again, staring at the framed text. Good luck with your little startup, babe. Below it hung my awards, my Forbes cover, my life. I raised my glass to the empty room. Cheers, Tyler. Hope the crypto pays off. Then I laughed because we both knew it wouldn't.